course, we are live just as I take a drink. Hey, everybody, this is Erich Mische, CEO of SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. And I'm thrilled to be here today to talk about Save&Raid as we get ready for this year's 5th annual Save&Raid event, which will be taking place beginning on February 21st, and it'll be running for a long time. It's like 3 days. There's nearly 60 streamers from almost 15 different countries. We've got a couple of roundtable conversations that are going on to learn more about Save&Raid and how you can be a part of it, the schedule and everything else. We've got the website up here at saveandraid.org. We are excited to be here today with a team of streamers of that nearly 60 folks. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them to go around and introduce themselves, kind of share a little bit about how they got involved with Save&Raid. And then from there, we'll talk about the event itself, why they think it's important, and just kind of see where it goes from there. So Team Wildwood, you are up at bat. So if you would introduce yourselves and share with people a little bit about yourselves.
Absolutely. Well, we are Team Wildwood. Most people just call me Wildwood, and this is my wife, Nerded Art. I'm actually Alex, and this is Chelsea. And yeah, we've been at it for about 3 years now on Twitch, and we got involved pretty quickly. I play retro, very similar to RDM Havoc, and we bumped into each other early. And even my very first year of streaming, he suggested that we joined Save&Raid, and it felt like we just got it started streaming, so it'd be cool if we could actually put that into some kind of powerful, useful way and help other people. So we couldn't deny it, and that first year we just got hooked. It was such a great thing to see everybody going, same cause, passing the save file. It was just really cool first year for streaming for us, and we got stuck on it after that, and now this is year 3.
Yeah. Great community people.
Fabulous. Mattglad.
Hey, hi, I'm Mattglad. I stream sometimes. You see me in a lot of channels. I found out about Save&Raid while lurking around in Fractal Mind Mike's chat back in 2021, I think it was, and he was talking about this event that was coming up that piqued my interest because it was a game that I liked and the idea was amazing. So I showed up to the event, probably donated more money than I should have, but it was worth it. And I really fell in love with the whole concept idea of it. And I was like, I'm going to get involved in this next year. And I've been involved ever since. I started with the Save&Raid dungeons. I did Wastelands. I did Follow the Freeman. And now I'm doing Sanctuary. And I'm very excited about it.
Well, thank you for donating more than you should have. I appreciate it. And so does the entire team here at Save. And this year you should only donate as much as you can, not more than you should. Kiatic, did I get it right?
You got it perfect.
Okay.
It's like
I want to make sure I got the pronunciation right. So you're
I
next.
change it all the time. You are perfect. Kiatic. As long as there's a K in there, I'm good. Just like my name. Yeah, I'm Kiatic, new streamer. I started in September of last year, and I've known of Save&Raid for a couple years, I think from Sakura's channel. And it's a little nudge from I am Tinderly, that I should, maybe try to do a Save&Raid. So this is my first time. And I'm excited. I'm nervous and I'm excited. And I'm telling everybody at work, all of my family members, they probably want me to shut up. I don't care. But yeah, it's like, it is Save&Raid is quickly becoming pretty important to my mental well-being, the cause, everything. And I want to help.
Well, we appreciate your being here and being a part of this, and that's part of the fun about Save and Raid is that you get folks that come from all sorts of different walks of life and different reasons and backgrounds, and so welcome to the Save and Raid crew. Glad to have you, Geneva.
Yeah, hi, I'm Genevaleigh, and Geneva. I've been streaming for about 5 years, and I did Save and Raid. I have a terrible memory, so I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was the Legends of Grimrock, so the Save and Raid dungeons, I believe. And then I've missed either 1 or 2 because I wasn't available. But I got linked up to that with Artyom, as many people do. I met Artyom through the retro community, and he runs a lot of really great events and is connected to so many people. And I just ended up linking up with him and finding out about the event, and it was a really great experience. And I've been wanting to do it again, and I finally am able to join this year. So I'm very excited, and very excited to play Diablo and, talk about mental health and support each other and everyone else. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, fabulous. Well, thank you all for being here and being flexible. We were going to do this yesterday, and I had a little personal emergency with my nearly 93-year-old mom, who's doing just fine now. But thank you all for being flexible. So let's talk a little bit, and anybody can jump in on this. But when you think of Save and Raid, and you think of the purpose behind it, and you think of the community that you're a part of, what is it about this event that is meaningful to you, both in terms of the event itself, the reason behind the event, and that community part of it that you're all part of each year that this happens? So what are those things that make you want to do this if it's your first time, or makes you want to do it for the 5th time or your 2nd time?
Well, at least for me, this being the 3rd time around, and I've kind of thought about that, is it's really cool that not only we hang out with a bunch of our friends and we're all just chilling in chat for 3 days straight and all enjoying the same games we all enjoy, but with something like the SAVE program, it doesn't matter, how many people it affects, because if it reaches out to one person really significantly, then that's mission accomplished from probably any one of us 60 of us. So it's something where it's so easy to make an impact by just trying to have fun. And that's not an easy thing to do these days. But you guys give us a place to do it here once a year.
Yeah.
Chelsea, anything you want to add to that?
No, honestly, it's just it's an amazing community of people, and you can really you can feel the love from this event. It comes from such an amazing place, and I'm just so proud of all the participants, and I think we're going to have an amazing year.
I think for me, it's the topics that are brought up are things that everybody has a hard time talking about. And I've interacted with my community about a lot of mental health struggles that they have personally or with their friends and loved ones. And so I really feel a responsibility to make a space that supports anyone to feel like they can get the help that they need, or talk about the things that have been troubling them, and to just be there, to have so many people say, we're aware of these things, we've experienced these things, or we know people. I think that makes a big difference. Plus the financial aspect of being able to actually fund programs that are making a difference in the real world for anyone who might need it. So I do feel an honor to just to be able to show that this is something that's there, that we're all supporting and comfortable accepting and talking about.
I would like to add on to what Geneva is saying and say that it's a very, very hard topic to broach. It's not something that people easily even want to talk about, or some people are just not emotionally capable of talking about it. And the whole concept of bringing awareness, bringing education about how to communicate with someone who might be, in trouble and they need someone to speak with. Like, we're not mental health professionals, but we can have resources in our pocket to give to those people. And this event helps make that happen, helps make more people aware, more people have those tools in their pocket. For every person that has that tool in their pocket, you may save one more person. You never know. Aside from that, the event itself is like a really fun and engaging way to do it because it's fun. It's like literally like we're playing a game and we're having fun and we're joking around. So many great memes have come out of the event that are they're from 2-3 years ago that are still going throughout the entire community, like every day. And it's amazing. Like, I don't know. I would just say that like a guy taking a shower 5 years ago has turned into something really awesome.
So let's put that in context so that people don't wonder what the random statement about a guy taking a shower is, because that could be any number of things. So the guy that we're talking about is Matty, right? Artem Hawk, right? Who this was kind of his aha moment sitting in his shower in Vancouver. And he kind of came up with the concept and then reached out across the ocean, the big ocean, and chatted with Bogle. And then they reached out all over the place and got a bunch of people involved. And it is now what it is today, thanks to that very simple human thing of taking a shower. So
that gave me the
how about
giggles.
you?
I'm a big giggling right now. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Kia.
No. You know what? It is easy to put me to the giggles. But no, seriously. Bringing it down. No, seriously though, it's like learning more and more about like the Save and Raid, the game aspect of this one fussing save file. Continuing on. I've been trying to explain that to my whole entire work. It's been so much fun and they're so confused. So I explained it slowly to them. It's been so much fun. And it's all for such an amazing cause that I wish I had available back in, 2008? That would have made my experience easier. That I would have had like a community to talk to. When I had, oh no, there was emotions. No, bring it down. That would have been made easier. But I had such a support system in my family that I was able to get out. Kind of. It's a work in progress. 20 some years later, it's a work in progress. But it's something that is quickly becoming, I need help. I need to help that 22-year-old that it's okay. Like sometimes it's okay to not be okay. But it's also okay to ask for help. Get that resource. Talk to someone.
I think it's a really important part of destigmatizing the conversation. It's okay to tell people you're not okay, and it's okay to share that.
Yeah, and that's an important point, and it's also kind of bring it back to a comment that Matt brought up, which is the goal here isn't to have 60 mental health professionals streaming online, right? And that's a really important part of this conversation, which is you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist to talk about mental health, to talk about suicide, and to help people get access to resources. So behind me here, obviously, is 988. And so anybody who's participating on this live stream today, if you need some help, you need somebody to talk to, whatever the reason is, call or text or chat 988. If you know somebody, right? That's the other thing that's really important for people to know is that if you know somebody who needs help and you're not quite sure exactly how to help them, that 988 is there as a resource as well. And so one of the things that we're really excited about this year is Maddie and Bogle and Jen Owens, who is our director of programs at SAVE, along with Like an Apple, have put together a couple of roundtable conversations where we're going to talk to representatives from other countries' suicide crises hotlines, where we're going to have that conversation with them. And then we've got some other folks who are doing some really innovative, creative, important things in the area of suicide prevention, that I think is going to be really a great opportunity. So in addition to this chance to kind of do this game, play Diablo, raise some money, raise awareness, the idea was, let's continue to build some additional content so that people can get some additional information about what's happening out there. So I'm excited about that, in addition to just the event itself. And last year was my first year to participate in Save&Raid, and I got the opportunity to kick off the weekend, and I get to do that again this year. I'm playing way too many hours of Diablo, and I'm stuck someplace in the bottom of the church, which I couldn't tell you where it is. And I'm terrified that I'm going to somehow or another ruin the joy of Diablo for Lady Game God, because this is like her favorite game of all time. So, but as we talk about the games themselves, I mean, you all participate. So outside of Save&Raid, you're all streaming with your own communities. And so how important is it to you, putting Save&Raid aside for a second, to have that online streaming community as a part of your life?
Yeah, that's absolutely a big part of it. And actually, it's crazy how many communities sort of overlap Save&Raid too, that we didn't see at first. And the more we're a part of it, the more our retroactive community, that's kind of, I would say, is my main community, shares so many members. And man, at least 20 or 30 of us are in that and are part of the Save&Raid marathon. So, and then via that, we meet new people and then jump into their community. And my Discord list grows every year just based on the Save&Raid event every year.
And we've had the opportunity to make some amazing friends. We are lucky enough that we also live in the Pacific Northwest, so we get to go hang out with Matt and Apple, and we go to Quadland and we do all sorts of fun things. So yeah, the retro community in general has just been a really amazing thing for us, and a great way to make new connections and new friends.
Absolutely. We're even driving up to Save&Raid this year. It's only like 2 hours for us.
Yeah, so we'll be up there Saturday. Great. Just say hey to everybody.
Yeah. So see you in person then.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's my main form of social interaction the last few years, and that is pretty vital. So having a way to meet new people and share my thoughts and hear other people's thoughts is basically an essential part of your life. So if you don't have a lot of opportunities, I don't have a job where I have a lot of people, or I'm not in school, and I recently moved somewhere else, and then with COVID and all the things going on, it has been harder to make IRL community. So having a Twitch community has really kept me going in that aspect, and definitely changed my life for the better, the connections I've made. And then, yeah, like everyone is already saying, the Save&Raid is so interconnected. There's so many familiar faces that I see around, and that's very comforting and joyful to run into people around other streams and in the Save, and know that we're all sort of thinking about the same things and trying to accomplish the same things is very uplifting.
I would
sorry, continue.
Oh, no, go ahead.
You please.
I've been around. I've been around for a few years. I want to hear fresh voices first.
Oh no. Yeah, like the streaming and my community, it's allowed my undiagnosed work in progress ADHD brain to just be free with no consequences. Not necessarily no consequences, but no people in my real lives telling me that I shouldn't be thinking this way, shouldn't be. Why am I getting emotional? No, bring it in. But it kind of gives me, in my own community, in my own stream, a safe space to just be random, be chaotic, which I'm kind of growing into my chaos name. I can't help it. But growing the self-acceptance and just, learning self-love. What else to say about it?
I think it's really easy in the gaming community to start feeling really isolated. And I think that Twitch is really important to a lot of us to kind of remember that we're not alone out there, and that, we do have an amazing community. It's such an amazing tool for that, I have to say.
I would like to, again, like there's a parallel with Geneva. I don't know how this is happening, but I have another parallel with Geneva where like a lot of my social interaction has tied to the Twitch community in recent years. And I would absolutely tie the whole COVID-19 and just the upheaval of the world that's been going on since then as a reason why that's almost been like fortified and reinforced. I had the opportunity to go to TwitchCon this year and see just how big of a world Twitch actually is. Like, I'm leaving the corporate stuff aside that goes on at TwitchCon, because there's a lot of that. Just going and seeing like thousands of people in person that are every day doing the same stuff that all of us are doing, just seeing how big of a world it is, and seeing how something like this event has like helped like bring hundreds of those people together, like over the course of a few years, like just like all aware of the same event, and like just going to seeing like how community can just grow just from, it's almost like the telephone game, word of mouth, like, hey, did you hear about this thing? Hey, did you hear about this thing? And then the next thing you know, next year there's 400 people that know about it. And it's been great. Like, I feel like I've made more friends on Twitch in the last 4 years than I have in real life in the last decade and a half. I just think it's a great thing, and I'm here for it.
So somebody used the word, and like an Apple referenced this in the comment section, used the word joyful. And
I like that.
I think that's a great word to describe it. And one of the things that I found really moving last year, again, being part of it for the first time, was watching each streamer with their own identity, kind of their own persona, celebrating their participation with that level of joy, right? That there is no expectation, right? There is no pressure. Everybody plays to whatever level they're going to play. And I think that's really important, especially at a time, and we talk a lot about this at SAVE. We live at a time when we've never been more connected, right? We are connected through everything, through this, right? Through just about everything. And despite that level of connectedness, we've all never been lonelier, right? There is this kind of sense of disconnectedness from one another. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. But this notion of having a community, right, in whatever way, shape, or form that manifests itself, is extraordinarily important to all of us, right? And generationally, it's important. Maddie's heard this story so many times that he's going to have to hear it again if he's watching this. But I tell the story. My dad was a big ham radio guy, right? So this was back in the 30s, not the 30s, the 40s and 50s and 60s, right? He'd sit in the basement and he'd be on his ham radio or the Morse code talking to people all over the world, right? And that's how he connected. That was his community. My dad was a pretty, I would say he was a kind of a loner, right? He was a guy who didn't have he was an introvert through and through. But for him, he would come alive on that ham radio and on the Morse code. I'd sit down there and listen to the dit dot dit dit dit, all that stuff. I couldn't understand a damn piece of it, right? But he would sit there forever, and that connected him to a community. And then when I had my own kids, right, I tell the story that we got our kids an Xbox, and they used to play that Xbox all the time. And then I noticed one time that they stopped playing it. And I was like, what's going on? Is it broken? Do you not want to play it anymore? And my son said, no, all of our friends have got the ability to talk to each other with their Xboxes, right? They can communicate and play with each other, and our Xbox can't do that. And I remember my immediate reaction was like, oh my gosh, you should be thankful you've got an Xbox at all. And then I stopped myself, and it occurred to me that Xbox for my kids was the equivalent of my dad's community on that ham radio, right? That was their connection to the world. And today, that connection for them is still that way. But as we think about that issue of loneliness, I'm curious as to your thoughts on how does that manifest itself in the world that you're in? Does that resonate with you, this idea of being connected and at the same time that kind of sense of isolation and loneliness? And is that, I think I'm hearing from you all, that's a big reason why this event and your streaming community is such an important part of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, it is different to be meeting friends on Twitch than hanging out with people in real life, especially before COVID, that kind of tossed that all up. But at the same time too, after a couple of years, you bump into a case where it's like, oh yeah, we actually live pretty close together. So you go meet that person, and then the interactions become sort of different. Like the first time I came back from Quadland with RDM Havoc and I jumped back into his chat, it was like, we're a different level of friend now than we were just knowing each other on Twitch in chat, because I had now met him, and then I met Seeky Wisdom, and then I met Lady Game Gone. It kind of got to the point where I started meeting so many people in real life that I met on Twitch, that even my connections with people I haven't yet met started to feel more personal, because it's like they are still that kind of real person on the other end that I've been shown time and time again. When I meet someone, I find out their real name and not their game tag, and shake their real hand and not just wave at them with an emoji. And that all becomes like more and more intimate every single time and every year. And then it gets to the point where it actually feels like someone you met and you've been chilling with in chat for 6 months, like is a real life friend now, that wasn't when you first started doing that and didn't get to meet some of the real people that are behind all this.
Well, and just really quick, it's interesting that point about finally getting to meet, right? So last year was the first time that Bogle and Maddie got to meet each other, right, in real life, in real person. And while I know that connection online is really intense, you can also tell that there is that moment when you're actually able to see that person in flesh that does make an impact. But thoughts from others on that topic?
I've definitely been a part of online communities for most of my life. I was born in the mid 80s, and I got internet, got AOL in the mid 90s, and was part of the online chat communities there. And then I was on LiveJournal, MySpace, Something Awful Forum, just on and on and on. And Twitch is just the newest format of that. So that's been super important to me. I know people talk a lot about the difference in relationship, and I suppose there probably is a difference between an IRL relationship and an online. But for me, it's just always been it's felt very genuine and connected. I don't know if that's unhealthy or if I'm missing something, but I felt very much like I'm interacting with real individuals, and there might be so many things I don't know about them, which is good to keep in mind too. But I I value them as if they were a close friend, in the neighborhood.
And
yeah.
I feel like, at least for me, I was kind of the same way. I grew up on the internet, AOL chat rooms, LiveJournal, MySpace, the whole 9 yards. So I totally get it. And it's interesting to me how now as an adult, I don't know that before I would have been like, oh, like this is my online friend, but they're my online friend. And I feel like since I've been on Twitch for the past 3 years, that like barrier has like slowly broken down, where it's like, no, we're just friends. We've never met. We live across the country from each other, but I think that Twitch has really helped me change that mindset of like, you're my online friend. Like, no, we're just friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes the bestest of friends. It's like, since I started streaming, I've been talking to more and more communities. And yeah, like I found out that before I even started streaming, Rat's House Retro, who's in chat, he lives in my city, now lives in my apartment building. We're friends. And now I have like a couple people that I'm close friends with that I haven't technically met in real life, but I consider them one of my closest friends, that if I ever have like a bad moment, I can go talk to them and just say, or ask them, how are they doing? How's the cats? How's the fam? And just have a in-depth, deep conversation that I feel like I have best friends. Even though I technically never met them in real life. But I want to. I get the money. Win the lottery. We're doing it.
Yeah, I think Twitch has helped improve my memory because I have to remember so many things about people to remember them as individuals. Like this person lives there and they have this job and they have this cat. So I've gotten way better at paying attention to people and what they're interested in, or to try to connect to them more when we don't have that IRL aspect.
Something that comes up in Twitch involving like IRL versus online is the concept of the parasocial relationship. Like crossing that barrier, I've noticed, is easier if it's one streamer to another streamer, because like you can have 10 people in chat, 20 people in chat, 40 people in chat, and it is a person behind that screen name for sure. I mean, yeah, there's bots, but there's a person behind that screen name, but you only know of whatever stream of consciousness that they've unloaded into your chat, but you don't actually know that person. But if you interact with another streamer, like we do here in Save&Raid, if you're interacting with them and you're seeing them, you're seeing video of their face and their voice and you're hearing them talk, I think it helps actually like reinforce that friendship. Like I would say I would be more willing to like actually become friends with someone that also streams versus someone who is just a chatter. I'm not saying I wouldn't make friends with a chatter. Like if someone were to recognize me in real life, I mean, I'm not famous, but if somebody were to recognize me in real life, I would say hello, introduce myself, and maybe I'd become friends with them. I don't know, but I don't know. Like I definitely feel like there's like a barrier to cross before I would ever consider like becoming friends with someone in chat without ever seeing their face, if that makes any sense. Like I'm not trying to say I'm agoraphobic. I'm just saying like there's a safety aspect to it for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we make connections and meet people different today, and we just do, right? I mean, 20, 30 years ago, you met the person you were going to go out with or date, right, at a bar, at a dance, right? Then we morph to people we date, we find on an app, or we find them online somewhere. And so these things all change, right? Humans evolve and change, and how we interact with each other evolves and change. And I don't know that I don't know that one is better, worse than the other. I think it all depends on how it resonates with you individually, right? So, so I want to talk a little bit about the subject matter, right? So we've talked a lot about the game. We've talked about why people get involved in it. We've also talked a little bit about the goal here is that we don't all have to be mental health professionals. We don't have to be therapists to be able to make a difference and to talk about suicide and talk about how to get help. So one of the things that we do, and we'll talk about this more during the event, is we have a free program that we call One Step Ahead that we make available to everybody so that they can take that and gives you a really kind of basic training on, we kind of call it CPR for suicide prevention, right? Kind of give you the tools for how you have a conversation with folks. As you think about the subject matter itself and the importance of this event, how important is it for you to connect the mental health aspect, the suicide prevention aspect to the game and the event itself? Is that a component part that's really meaningful to you, and how do you communicate that to your network, both online and in the real world?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know at least I was going to mention the One Step Ahead training, because we did that, the wife and I, and it's one of those things where, outside of the event, now every day that we're live, Twitch is just a place most of us would want to go and unwind. And sometimes when you're having a bad day, you need to go to a place to unwind. And a lot of that training has allowed me to sort of see flags of stuff like that and see when someone comes in that maybe they're having a bad day and whatnot. And without that training, I wouldn't have been able to see something like that, or I might have ignored that and not given them extra attention and kind of stopped focusing on my game and focused on a friend for a little while. And like I said, it's just a 40 minute training. And I was a tour guide in Hawaii, and I had to take the CPR training. And it was a lot longer than 40 minutes of training, but it's still the same thing. It's, you need to know CPR, that when you need to administer CPR, you don't need to look up how to do it. You need to have CPR. And the SAVE training is the same way. When I see something with someone, I can't go, hey, let me go, hang tight for 40 minutes. I'm going to go do some training on this. It just needs to already be in your pocket. And that's one thing where before I was streaming on Twitch and it was just, hey, let's hang out and play video games with friends. But that was an easy 40 minutes of my life. It's like, now I might be able to see things different from a different person's perspective when they come into our chat, and, give them attention they need and resources they need, and
know how to help, know how to talk to them and know how to help. Yeah. And
that every day I'm live, that's a possibility now. And I have that training and I'm ready now. Even though I'm, of course, not saying I'm some professional in the field, but it's like CPR, if you need someone, if someone knows CPR, it's better than no one knowing CPR.
You're doing the best you can.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all we can all try to do.
Yeah.
As far as the question of how does connecting the game to the topic of Save and Raid, like how does the game connect to like a real life situation? I had like a subconscious thought a little bit earlier in the stream. Like I was like, I don't know if this is going to come up, but like if you want to draw any kind of parallel, like when we do Save and Raid, it started last year, but we have a hint line. It's literally like help available when you need it. Like we're going to have streamers that are playing Diablo. I'm one of them. That are going to struggle and come across some kind of problem that needs solving or like direction to go in some way or another. And the hint line is there. And subconsciously, like that translates into the 988 number that we've got on our screen right now. It connects. It's like, you may not notice it, but your brain will, is a quote that comes from Red Letter Media, which is a horrible YouTube channel, but it's apt. I do feel like the game is an opportunity to like draw those connections together in some way, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant perspective on that, Matt.
I had a
is
similar
really true.
experience. You're fine. Sorry. Playing Legends of Grimrock, which is not a game style of game I commonly play. It's very out of my element, and I was very stressed. I felt pressure personally. Nobody put pressure on me, but I felt pressure. I didn't know what to do, and having everyone in chat sort of cheer me on and celebrate my victories or the things I overcome, I think is another good parallel of how SAVE is representing a community of people that'll help you through something that's difficult or unfamiliar. Then you don't know if you're going to make it through or what to do. You have all these people saying, like, I'm excited for you to try this and make it through. So Matt's comment also made me think of that parallel in how the game is connected to, and the community.
Yeah.
And all of us playing the game and working together to reach a goal is very similar to how SAVE approaches, their community work and their community support.
Yeah, the hint line, that is so that's true. Like, Matt, what you said, that's 100% very true. It's like, I haven't played Diablo games in, 20 years, give or take, a couple years. But I don't know. I'm forgetting the question. My ADHD is going like,
You're doing just fine. Doing just fine. I will tell you that last year
I'm here.
playing Half-Life, my gluteus maximus got a workout from all the tension and clenching I was doing. And I got to say, Diablo has kind of doubled down on that. I even went out and bought a controller, which it occurred to me that there's far too many buttons on here for me to be able to pay attention to. So I'm stuck with just using my mouse here. But, it's one of the things, Maddie just pointed this out. Part of the thing that's really fun about this is that for those who are really into the games that they play, right, is there's kind of a level of pride that you take in your skill and things like that with each game that you play. Here, that concept of pride and skill takes like a back seat to just participating in the event, right? Which is, you can be really, really good at Diablo, you can suck at Diablo, right? And yet you can feel as though this is a really important opportunity for you to be a part of something that's bigger than you, bigger than that game, and has an impact, right, that can help other people. And I keep coming back to this notion again that, it's really important that people understand that of all the things that we deal with in life, one of the things that we can have an impact on is simply asking somebody the question: one, how are you doing? Two, are you thinking about hurting yourself? Three, are you thinking about harming yourself? Are you thinking about suicide? And if the answer to those things is yes, our goal is to give you the resources and tools to be able to help that person get to the help that they need to get to, right? It's not to be the therapist, it's not to be the doctor, it's to be somebody who can say, here are some resources, right? And again, we keep coming back to one of the most important resources that we have here today, that's available to folks, that's free 24/7, it's confidential, is 988. And so anybody who's watching this, anybody who's ever, just once you're done with this, 988 is truly a remarkable tool, something that every day we need to continue to say that out loud, because we need more people to be aware of that resource and knowledge about what's going on. So the event itself, so it starts on the 21st. So everybody has, the goal is to try to have some kind of milestone, right, of some kind here. So what are some of yours? I'm curious what I just sent Maddie and Bogo mine today, and so mine aren't public yet. So I don't think they're up on the board anymore. But what are some of your milestones that you guys have set up?
I'm a scaredy cat. My VTuber is a cat. I'm a scaredy cat. I can't watch horror games. I don't play horror games. I'm a scaredy cat through and through. So my first is playing Doom, which you wouldn't think. That's my baby step into scary games. And then I have Dead Space a little bit later on. I've been told there's some spooky, scary parts. I don't entirely know, so I'm going in blind.
All right. Yeah.
Which I might be in trouble.
Okay. Anybody else got any unique ones that you want to share with folks?
We got some. We got a nice group thing going on because of Diablo. Being a 4-player, Diablo 1 being a 4-player game, Diablo 2 being an 8-player game. We have Lady Game Ga, Seeky Wisdom, Nerdwire Plays, Commodore Zed, myself. We're all going to be doing a 4-player at $10,000 playthrough of Diablo 1, and then tacking on even more people for Diablo 2 playthrough. And just getting both those games in a multiplayer kind of way, especially with Save and Raid being such a weirdly multiplayer thing, but we're playing a single player game. It'll be nice to show off the multiplayer-ness of that multiplayer game as well. So that's kind of one of the things we're shooting for there. And to that effect as well, I'm trying to figure out how many slots we're filling up. And I was thinking about putting it 7 if you, Eric, were interested in a $1,000 bounty to make Eric join us for a single play session of Diablo 2.
I'm game for anything. I've had to play the game Raft a couple of weeks ago with Lady Game Ga, Seek, and Maddie, and I think we had one more person that was joining. I think that maybe Bogo played. I felt like you might as well have put me in a room without any light, tell me to close my eyes and try to find a door. Yeah, I was an expert fisherman. That's right, Lady Game Guy. I just kept throwing, right? That's all I did. Right?
Well, you'll be safe in D2. We got Lady Game Ga, so
LGG's there to protect you.
She'll protect you. Yeah, you guys heard it then, $1,000. So we got to make sure you guys drop that's what it's for. If someone does a single $1,000 donation, we'll get Eric in on it.
There you go. No pride. I have none. 0. Anybody else want to share some of your milestones?
I struggle every year with milestones, but I love incentives. The stuff that happens during the stream is one of my favorite things, and something I'm toying with. I haven't submitted it yet. I was thinking of almost there's some streamers that have they do points battles in their chat where they redeem points to trigger a battle. Retro Island Gaming is one of them where he does wizard hat on off battles. They cast spells against each other. It's wild. I was thinking of doing something similar to that with donations, small donations. I'm not going to say the smallest possible donation if possible, but things like donate $5 and I will waste a potion. And then you have 2 minutes for someone else to donate $5 to make me not waste that potion, or $25 and I will drop the sword that I'm carrying or drop the bow that I'm carrying, or go back and pick it up for another $25, make it because there's people that will come in and are willing to donate and they may or may not donate, but it will definitely cause rage in people like Lady Game Guy, because she'll see me drop the mythical sword of Diablo's Doom or whatever is in the game, and it'll be fun. That's one thing I was thinking of. I don't know if it'll get approved or not. As far as milestones though, I'm still at a loss. I still have to submit them. I will come up with them probably within the next 24 to 48 hours.
So the idea of Christina in a rage is fine if you're in the virtual world, but that I'm going to actually be in the same room with her. So I want to make sure that I'm well aware of when this is happening. Anybody else have other incentives or milestones that they want to share?
I'm still finalizing mine as well. I think I'll probably do some special streams, like a cooking stream, or I've been learning Tai Chi, and sometimes we do stretching and yoga together. So maybe trying to show off some Tai Chi to do together. And I'm also really bad at scary games, but my community loves watching me suffer. So I'd probably offer a scary game. I also had a community member say they would play Rocky and Bullwinkle on NES, which is a game that I hate, that they will play that game if we reach a certain amount of money. So even the people in the chat are wanting to promote, you know, the milestones and get the donations going. So I'll think of some stuff.
You got some good ideas there.
Yeah.
Last year, one of the milestones or incentives was, and I can't remember where it was. One of them was I colored my hair, but then there was another one where we got uncomfortably close to me having to shave off all my hair. And so I'm putting that one back in the table, but I can't remember what level I have that at. But then I have some other ones. We'll see how it all goes. None of which will be particularly pleasant for me.
Yeah. We're going for a little bit of self-torture as well.
Yeah.
We own a party business, so we have tons and tons and tons of balloon supplies. So the wife is going to start me with a nice balloon hat, but for any donation, it'll add +1 balloon to said hat. And I'm assuming by the end of the stream,
we're
this
looking
whole
for a
camera
massive balloon hat.
might engulf part of my body. I don't know. People can go as hard as they want on that particular one.
Well, this is part of what it is that I enjoy a lot. You know, we do a lot of different activities and events throughout the year, and you know, as I shared with my board last year, and I just got done sharing with them again in an email. I send out a weekly email to my board about just how amazing it is to watch the amount of time and effort goes into putting this together, right? So this isn't just like, hey, we're going to put this on the calendar, we pick a game, and boom. I mean, I see all these Discord messages go back and forth about, we need to try this out, you need to do this, you need to set this up, you've got to show up for this mandatory meeting. And all of the work that's being done in the back end of this is all volunteer work, right? Which is extraordinary that people would do that. Maddie is trying to, one of the incentives is that $40,000, I'll shave my hair off my head. Maddie is concerned that he's being included in that, but I would say that if we got to $50,000, maybe Maddie might shave off some of his hair. So we'll see if that could possibly happen. Maybe it grows back, Maddie. You'd be fine. It all grows back. So we're going to kind of come to the end here in the last 5 minutes or so of this conversation. But I want to kind of come back to this notion again about kind of connectedness, because that's the piece that I value the most about this event, right? We have events that raise significantly more dollars than this event. We also have events that raise significantly less dollars. We have no event, none, that captures that sense of community and connectedness that this event does. And I don't say that lightly, because, you know, we have events where 500 or 600 people show up in person, right? And so this event kind of transcends that notion of what it means to be connecting in the real world. What is it? IRL, is that what it is in real life?
IRL.
Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's one of the things that's so cool about it is, like, you know, if one streamer were sitting down and playing Diablo for 60 hours straight, they'd get a fair amount of views. If one person was sitting down and playing Diablo for an hour, they probably wouldn't get very many at all. 60 of us playing for an hour back to back is like, that's the magic, you know, like just being able to get so many people on this same amazing page talking about this same amazing thing. And I've got so much respect for all the people that organize this event. You guys are doing an amazing, amazing job.
Yeah, I'm stunned by the amount of planning and effort that goes into it, right? And folks that have, you know, real life jobs, real life other things that are going on, right? And still put that time and effort into it. Really is truly remarkable. And it's a gift to Save, and it's a gift to the work that we do. And I'm excited to be able to be a part of it again this year. Excited to be able to travel out to Vancouver and hang out with everybody. And I got to give a big shout out to Seeky Wisdom, who may be the most patient human being I've ever met in my life, who sat on the computer with me for like an hour and a half setting it up so that I could play Diablo on Twitch and was kind and gentle and finally walked me through it and got me there. And to me, Seek kind of represents that kindness and gentleness that I see in all of you who participate in this event. And I'm really fortunate to be able to lead an organization that has the connection that we have to each of you and what it is that you do to help your fellow human beings. It's really pretty incredible. So any final thoughts anybody has that want to share to the world, or any kind of words of wisdom you want to give to anybody who's playing Diablo? Any little hints or tricks that you want to share with your colleagues here before we wrap it up?
Save often.
Truth. That's the best.
Yes.
That's the best.
Yeah.
F2. F2.
Yep.
But save often, but not when you're like really weak,
Not in
and
combat.
running out of stuff.
When you're safe.
Right. And I
No panic saves. We want-
No.
Oh my God.
I've done that in
panic
Skyrim.
saved all the time. I panic saved like 2 weeks ago. And so when I came back to life, I couldn't even move because I just got wiped out because I panic saved. So, all right. folks,
Stretch
we're
your
gonna-
hands is
Go
mine.
ahead.
Stretch your hands.
Oh,
Because you're
yeah.
going to be clicking a lot.
Yep.
So do a little wrist stretch before
Place.
your
So
run.
you guys all use a mouse or controller?
Mouse.
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 I kind of use a mix, but mostly mouse and keyboard.
Okay, well then I feel like I'm somewhat on par here. So
Yeah.
Good. Well, folks, we are going to wrap this up. Again, thanks for your flexibility in joining today instead of yesterday when we originally was set up. And Kiatic and Geneva, thank you for joining us kind of at last minute and being a part of this.
No problem.
You know, I'm looking forward to getting on the plane next week, getting out to Vancouver and being in person with the folks that are out there. But I'm looking forward to being online and in person with each of you who's participating, those of you who've been watching this. On behalf of all of us, I can't tell you just how thankful and filled with gratitude we are for all you do. It truly is a remarkable gift to our organization. Your capacity to be able to share with people the work that we do and the fact that it's all right and it's important and it's necessary to talk about this, to talk about suicide, talk about it out loud, and ask for help. So last words are, if you need help, ask for help. Ask your friends, ask your coworkers, ask those you stream with. And if you can't do that, call, text, or chat 988. It's free, 24/7. It's confidential. It's there for you. That's why it's there. God bless you all. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thank
Peace.
you. Bye-bye.